Hello and welcome to another update video about GALA. It's time to do an update because we've reached the next target. Yesterday in the video, or I think it was yesterday in the video, we talked about this support box that would be acting as a next target after we broke out of this ascending wedge to the downside. We have now reached the target. It's time for an update with GALA. I did move those trend lines here now a little bit. It's hard because you can draw these trend lines in a way that you get something like an ascending wedge. You can also draw them in a way that you get an expanding diagonal, so an expanding wedge. See, like that. It's a bit tricky, but I think because many coins are currently doing these just normal ascending wedges, I think that's sort of probably the best way to do it. The top line isn't very defined. You know, we only have 2 touch points really, so I'm not very happy with that. The lower end here is quite well defined, so 3 touch points there. It's okay. But anyway, we've now reached the support. It could very well be, as discussed in yesterday's video, that we are here in an ending diagonal and may still get one more high in this wave 5 of 1. That's absolutely possible. It's a bit difficult to say at the moment. It's certainly possible that the wave 4 ended here at 4.3 cents, A, B, C, basically a running flat pattern, and that we're now moving up here in this sort of ending diagonal. That's possible. Problem with that I have is that the wave 3 appears to be longer than the wave 1. Or let me just double check that. That's not normally what you want to see in a normal ascending wedge situation. It is. So it makes more sense to see it maybe as I had it before as expanding diagonal, which is fine as well. Okay, then the wave 5 would ideally be longer than the third wave as well, or have at least the same length, which means in this particular scenario the wave 5 should reach, depending on from where we start. I don't necessarily have confirmation that we've seen the low yet, but let's say the low is then we should reach at least 6.88 cents here to the upside. Either way, different scenarios are possible in this kind of wedge. Eventually, this should break to the downside. Eventually, we will complete here the wave 1. This count is currently rather in line with Bitcoin and Ethereum because they are also doing their wave 4. They haven't quite reached their support areas yet. And I would still look at another wave 5 for Bitcoin, Ethereum as well. So we could, why not get that for GALA as well? So I'm looking at that possibility, especially as long as this support level is holding. Why or how did I define it? Well, first of all, it's based on, sort of the area where we've got this ascending trend line. In a diagonal pattern, you often come down to these trend lines. Even if it's a wave 4, that would normally not retrace more than the 50% level of the third wave. But if it's a diagonal, you get normally the price back to the trend line, which is also why I defined that support area. But it's also based on Fibonacci support, basically here between the, just draw that, I think it's a bit too low, between the 78.6 Fib and the 61.8 Fib here, between 4.95 and 5.22 cents. So anybody who entered the short here then to reach the target area, congratulations. I think it's time for taking some partial profits. Do I know that we are going to reverse here in a wave 5? No, but still it's worth to at least explore the idea, because there is currently no evidence that we're going to break with this move down already. It could mean that we go up once more and then come down. It's all about being strategic, right? We've got a trend line here that has been quite relevant. Also, I'd be a bit careful tomorrow, obviously. Fed interest rate decision, there will be a lot of volatility, and it could lead to a lot of these scenarios here being completed in just maybe, a couple of hours. So that will be interesting. But we are now in the support area. So if we hold this support area, there is a good chance to rally in that fifth wave that I talked about, and maybe to max out here the wedge. If we break out already to the downside, then this would be a signal that we are already in the larger wave 2, that we completed wave 1 already. I will have to make some changes here. Probably have to assume that wave 4 finished here, but at the moment it's all fine as it is because we haven't invalidated the pattern. As long as wave 1 could have topped here already, but there's also a chance for wave 1 to top here as long as this support area is holding. If we come down, next support will be the previous wave 2 low in the region around 4.66 cents. If we lose that, yeah, then I think we are coming down in wave 2. And then if we have that clarity, I will be able to give you a key support area for that wave 2. It's a bit too early for that because it depends on where really the top will be. If I base it on the current high, the support area for the wave 2 should be in the 50% to the 78.6 region. So 3.93 cents and 2.57. But I've got the feeling it's a bit too early for that because I also still look at possibly another high for Bitcoin, Ethereum. There are no signs yet. There's no indication that the overall uptrend is already over. However, here obviously also GALA has got it more and more difficult to rally here further to the upside. We talked about that now many times, that we had here bearish divergences on various time frames. GALA is struggling. It's this ascending, broadening wedge pattern, which and we see the bearish crossover now on the daily chart. The MACD line is quite high, so a bearish crossover now on the MACD on the daily could really bring the price down into that wave 2 area. Bearish crossover on the daily RSI, certainly something to observe, but obviously knowing that there is a lot of uncertainty also with tomorrow's interest rate decision. Not necessarily what the interest rate increase will be, I think that's pretty clear. I mean, you never know, but strong expectations are around 25 basis points. But on top of that, we see this engulfing red candle here now. So there's a lot of, implications that at least indicate that the overall uptrend is getting close to its end. Not that it's over already, we haven't broken below the trend line, we haven't made lower lows, but we see that the bulls have it more and more difficult, which and such an ending diagonal pattern is always a strong sign for that, which doesn't mean the overall uptrend is over, but it means that temporarily we might come down in this wave 2 retracement before we move up further. But as I said, as long as the green support area holds, it is still likely to get this wave 5 rally before. Okay, and that's my update about GALA. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.